Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Catch-Up with Mayo, 4 p.m. on a Saturday, March the 14th, 2026. And how are you? How you doing? I'm doing pretty good. Weather is 51 degrees right now. It's getting better. And I'm here with a little bit of water. We have a little bit of that to wet my whistle before I start. All right. Okay, see, we already have, I should say, people here in the comments, like Gary, for example. Happy Saturday to you. Yes, indeed. Hello, Ramoga. What's on your so-called mind, huh? Hi, James. Doing good. Hope you're doing good. Hi, Gloria, from the Midwest, specifically Ohio. And Gloria has a question already. Let's see. Joe, do you think you'll ever go back to work? And are you enjoying retirement? That's interesting because I'm going to tell you a little something that I sort of did today, which I'll explain. The short answer is no. I hope I never, ever have to go back to work. Should anything happen in the future where I am required to punch a clock or to make more income or something, I would do it if I had to. But I really feel like I've done enough of that. I worked from 1980 to 2022. Was that 42 years? I, kind of had enough. And I'm not really a fan of work. I've never had really a job that I really enjoy to the point where I want to go to work. I've had some pretty annoying jobs, unpleasant jobs. I did have a job once for a number of years where I kind of made what you call rubber address stamps. And that was actually more like arts and crafts. So that was easy. But anyway, the story I was going to tell you is today I was driving and I decided to go to a neighborhood. This neighborhood was where I used to work as a mailman. And I just decided to drive up and down the streets that I used to deliver on. And I actually felt sentimental about it. It's amazing. You do a certain route with a lot of streets on it for many, 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 many years. It starts to be like a photo in your mind. Like you remember the houses, every door, every address, tree, stoop, railing. And I got a little sentimental about it. I said, why? Because I hated my job. Absolutely hated my job. But it's interesting that I was thinking about that today. I kind of got a little fondness for it, but I would never go back. Never. Unless emergency, I had to, like I said. Am I enjoying my retirement? It's funny. When people ask me, how's retirement treating you? Are you enjoying your retirement? You're supposed to say, absolutely, yes, I am. For the most part, I'd say I am. I've been retired. It'll be 4 years already next month. It'll be 4 years next month that I'm retired. I can't believe how fast time goes. But the thing about it is, it's not what I thought it would be. To me, it's always better than working. Anything is better than working. Counting the cracks in the ceiling is better. Watching paint dry is better than work. To me, unless you're doing a job you absolutely love, then it's not work. Like I work on YouTube right now. I'm kind of working from home, so to speak. I have 3 YouTube channels, and I work here. It's work, and I enjoy it. I enjoy what I'm doing here, so it's not work, But I don't know. You think, well, one day I'm going to retire and I'm going to watch all these movies, and I don't. I'm trying to get more into that instead of being on YouTube all the time, because I'm on YouTube a lot. And you think, oh boy, when I'm retired one day, I'm going to go to a matinee movie every day of my life. Well, there's nothing I want to see anymore. They're not making movies for me. I don't want to see movies. So it's not quite what I thought it was going to be. However, I am still enjoying it. I'm still enjoying it. I'm enjoying the freedom. I'm enjoying being able to go for a walk every day. Sometimes I skip a day here, a day there, but I like walking, doing my thing. And I also love doing this kind of thing, you know. And I like that you have the freedom where if you have to make a doctor's appointment, you can make it any day. You don't have to wait to see, well, which day am I off? What's my day off? Or if you want to go shopping, you don't have to wait till you're off. You can go anytime. Stuff like that. So overall, I am enjoying it, yes, but not enjoying it as insanely much as I thought I was going to, if that makes any sense. That was a long answer, but thanks for the question. Um, anyway, hello there, Harold, and hello there, Elvin. How are you? And hello, George. Check out George Music for All Four Seasons channel. Sorry if some of you, sometimes I forget to say that if you have a channel. Hello, GS. Hello, and George Smith. Hello to you. Hello, good to see you. It's good to see everybody. Still too cold, but I'm enjoying the extra hour of daylight. Yes, yes. It all starts with daylight savings time, right? Moving the clock ahead. That's the beginning. Godzilla for Ramoga. We'll see as the time goes on. I'm being difficult about it. Hi, Bernard. I'm sorry. I got to try to remember that. You know, it's hard sometimes remembering people's names when you have so many people if they're not right there in the actual name. You know. And Robbie, hello to you. Hello, hello. 16 days till the move. Good for you. Hopefully it works out smoothly. New man cave and music room coming. That's what I've been waiting for, Robbie. I've been waiting for that for a few years now. You know that. I'm hoping that within the next 2 years, that maybe I'll have a big room and I'll be in a bigger place. Okay. Hello, Mary. Thanks for joining us. And Mary says, I can't wait to retire. Absolutely. Well, can I ask you how many years you have left? I mean, it goes fast, you know. It doesn't seem like it when you're there, but it goes fast. Penny Lane, what's going on? Penny Lane is in my ears and in my eyes. Okay. Hello, Dino. Good to see you. What's up, Dino? Doing good. And 4D Man. Hey, 4D Man. 4D Man often now joins me on my movie chat over on my movie channel. So we'll talk about that later, you know, to watch my movie channel. But anyway, what was your start time as a postman? My start was 5 a.m., 6 days a week. But we cut corners to finish 2 hours early. Well, my start time was 7:30 a.m., 7:30 a.m. And yeah, it was Monday to Saturday, but we had rotating days off and things like that. But now the thing is, you say we cut corners to finish 2 hours early. Well, that's the thing. I mean, I don't know how old you are, but I know that by the time I started, you know, I started working for the post office in the 1990s. And by that time, they weren't doing that anymore. They used to do that, but the whole time I was there, they were watching you. They would sneak around in cars and watch you, make sure you didn't have any downtime. They tried to make sure, you know, it used to be before I ever started, the old timers, long before I got on, you could finish your job or finish your route, then they'd go hang out somewhere and nobody bothered them. But by the time you got to the 1990s or so, that was enough of that crap, you know. So you had to like kind of stretch it. Even if you could get done early, feasibly, you didn't want to get done early because if they found you done early, they'd give you more work. So you'd be working the same amount of time for even more work. Stupid. So you kind of stretched it. You had to kind of like pad it out, if you know what I mean. Okay. Hold on a minute. I have always been happy in retirement. It's 20 years this June. Okay. Fantastic. Goes too fast, I say. Hello, Charlie. What's your stand on daylight savings? I love it pretty much. My whole thing is I like it to be sunny by like 6:30, 7 a.m. But most importantly, I like it to be sunny later for longer. You know, I like it to be sunny at 7 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock maybe. Then it starts getting dark. So I'm a fan of that. Okay, Mary got 3 years to retirement. I remember, look, if this is any consolation to you, I remember when I had 3 years. I really wish I could play a video. I had a video of me in the mail truck, and it was wintertime in the mail truck. And I had the camera up, and I was recording myself. And in the background, well, it seemed like hundreds of packages, parcels to deliver. And I screamed into the camera. I don't know if you ever watch my rant videos. They're all in fun. But I said, I think it was 3 years and 4 months left. I said, in 3 years and 4 months, I'll be out of this place. I did it for, to vent. But I didn't put the video up. What's your favorite Halloween movie? Do you mean the Halloween series? Because if you mean the Halloween series, the actual, you mean for Halloween, the holiday or the movie series? Let me know. Are you a fan of Friday the 13th, the first film of any of the franchise? It's on Svengoolie tonight. I am a huge Friday the 13th fan. I am a huge fan. I saw every one of the movies in the theaters when they first came out, with the exception of the original. I didn't see the original, but with part 2 all the way to the end, I caught them in the theaters. I'm not as big a fan of the first movie because, well, I'm not going to spoil it for you if you don't know, but we'll talk about it some other time. I'm debating whether I should watch it on Svengoolie or not, because I own the movie on Blu-ray. I don't have to really watch it on Svengoolie to see it. However, I wouldn't mind watching it just because Svengoolie has never played that film before. I don't think. That's kind of new. All right. The Michael Myers movies. My favorite Michael Myers movies are actually, I guess, the first one. I'm not a big fan of the Halloween series. Honestly, I like Friday the 13th better. But the first Halloween, then Halloween 2, the first Halloween 2 from 1981, Halloween 2. Then I like the one that's called Halloween H2O, 20 years later. So those are my 3 favorites: Halloween 2, 1981, and Halloween 20 years later. H2O, they call it for a joke, I guess. Jay, hello, says, are you planning to see the Who's Tommy in IMAX next week? I didn't realize that it was next week. I've never seen Tommy. I think I'd like to see it in IMAX. I mean, I've seen some of it on TV, but I've never just sat down and watched the whole thing. And to see it in IMAX would be great. I didn't realize it was next week. Maybe I got to put that on my calendar. Yeah, last week we were teased with a couple of 80-degree days, and now it's sunny but cold. Yeah, it's true. It had I had a couple of days, like you said, where I went out, and all I had to wear was I call it my sweat jacket, my sweatshirt jacket with the zipper. That's all I had to wear. No winter coats. That lasted for a couple of days. I was happy. Then after that, I had to put my winter coat on, and here we go. But that, hopefully, after March is over, sometimes April can be cold too, but hopefully we'll be getting rid of those winter coats. Hopefully. All right, let's see here. Okay, hi Eric. Movies are fun with Svengoolie. One time he showed the Marx Brothers Duck Soup. I never knew that. I thought he only showed horror films and that was it. Is The Postman Always Rings Twice a horror film to you? I've never seen The Postman Always Rings Twice. I know about it. I mean, I've heard of it. I've never seen it. We also had a preview of summer a week ago in the Chicago area, and now it's snowing. Snow. We had some snowflakes here the other day. Stop it. Okay. Hello, Trish. Every time I see you, you bring the sun out. So that avatar of you, Trish, with the sun in the sky is really what you're about. I always say this, well, a lot of times I say this. When I first started doing this channel way back in 2012, DJ Trish was one of the first people that supported me. I never forgot that. So thanks, Trish. Doing good. Hope you're doing good. If you were to watch a James Bond film tonight, which would you choose? Well, I don't know if it's just which one I would choose tonight, or is it which one's my favorite. Tonight I don't know what kind of mood I'm in tonight. I don't know. Maybe The World Is Not Enough with Pierce Brosnan, but my favorite Bond films are Goldfinger, Dr. No, The Spy Who Loved Me with Roger Moore, and I do like some Pierce Brosnan as well. GoldenEye. Okay. He didn't have Lana Turner waiting for him. Cape Fear could be considered a horror film, especially toward the end. Yeah, it is kind of a horror-like movie. Yeah. I haven't seen the Robert De Niro version in ages. I mean, I saw that in the theater. I recently watched the one with Gregory Peck. I didn't, the Robert De Niro one is even more like horror. DJ Trish says, I feel the love. Thank you for the shout out. Give DJ Trish a subscription, sub over there. I think I got to clear my throat. So give me a second. Okay. Got to clear that throat. All right. It was 83 degrees on Tuesday and we had wet snow on Wednesday. Isn't that something? Yeah, Postman always rings twice as a film noir. I thought the postman rings twice was always meaning like somebody invites you into the house. That would be a nice lady invites a mailman into the house. That's what I always thought it meant. Does it mean that? Yeah, you're right about this. I got to admit, I'm a little too addicted to watching news, I got to say, these days. And it is like watching a horror film, Okay, am I the only one who loves So Glad to See You Here in Rochester theme with John Bonham on Back to the Egg? No, you are not. I love both of those tracks, Rochester theme and also especially So Glad to See You Here. I love Back to the Egg, and I think John Bonham was one of the greatest drummers of all time, Led Zeppelin. I absolutely like those two songs a lot. I love the album and also like John Bonham. Dig It or Maggie May? I like Maggie May better. I like Dig It better. And specifically, I like the long version of Dig It. The long version, I think it's 8 minutes, maybe, something like that. 7, 8 minutes. While you clear your throat, you could play Danny singing Uncle Albert. Maybe. I'm trying to stay away from that a little bit. I don't like playing music here too much, but you never know when that's going to pop up. Speaking of Danny, don't forget, everybody, I'll do a show with Danny on Wednesday over at my channel, Mayo Loves Mondays. Danny and I do a morning show over there at Mayo Loves Mondays. We do it on Wednesdays, though. Hello, James Farley. How are you? Yes, I do like the TV show Taxi. Recently, I found it on DVD, the whole series, the complete series, and it was cheap. So I bought it. My girlfriend and I, as we often do, we got through the first 2 or 3 seasons, and then we kind of like OD'd on it. We stopped. But yeah, I do like it. Okay. Mr. Blood Vessel saw a man on the run. It was fantastic. His arrest in Japan still is hard to believe. Yeah, he was kind of naive. Back to the Egg is the 3rd best Wings album. That's good to hear. Favorite songs on Run Devil Run? Hello, Sal. Try Not to Cry. That's, I think, an original one. I like the whole album, but you think I would come up with one. What's the one? I forget what it's called. Get into this house, stop all that yakety yak. That one. I forget if that's what that's called. Like that one. What's the one? Wow, it's been a long time. The other original one. No Other Baby. I like No Other Baby. I enjoy that album, the whole thing. Paul is really in good voice. He's really full of action, especially right after he lost Linda. He delved right into hard rock and roll. I like that oldies rock album a lot better than the Russian album that he did. And it's pretty good. It's steady all the way through. Or instead of music, you could put on a longer Odd Couple clip when you have to be off camera. Just a thought. Oh, yeah, but it's the clips are not that long, bud. Not that long. I have not really been following the Jim Irsay auction. I know that Mikey Arugula has made some videos, and Mikey Arugula was on the news. He was on the news the other night. I didn't see him, but somebody told me they'd seen him, that he was interviewed at the auction. Man on the Run is great. John played more lead guitar than we think. Honey Pie, I Want You, Get Back. He was amazing. I love his guitar playing on Get Back. I love that guitar solo. Do you like the comedy show It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? I have not seen it. What is the best Beatles song from all of 1964? Well, I never stopped to think about that one. You got to give me a break with that. So I'm trying to think of the Hard Day's Night album. Beatles for Sale. Oh, come on. I could come up with my choice, but you have to think about every song, you know. I Feel Fine, She's a Woman. Wow. That's a tough one. It might be the song A Hard Day's Night, maybe. I don't know. I Love You, Can't Do That. Can't Buy Me Love, maybe Can't Buy Me Love. Can't Buy Me Love could be the best Beatles song from 64, but I have to really go through the whole list in my mind. I'll take too much time if I do that, but Can't Buy Me Love, A Hard Day's Night, and I Love Her. Those are the first three. I Feel Fine. I'm trying to think the ones that really stand out. I mean, but I love stuff like I'm a Loser and I Don't Want to Spoil the Party and No Reply. I love all the Beatles. So, the other week I listened to Dylan's Street Legal, but still haven't seen your video commentary on it. Well, do it as soon as you can. It's a several videos back now. Let me know what you think. No, I don't have this. It's funny. People ask me this all the time. If you had 5 minutes to talk to Paul, what would you ask him? And I never know. Here's a guy that I followed my whole life that you'd think I could talk to for hours. And I never could think, if I only had one thing to ask him, I don't know. And then I never have an answer. And the funny thing is, after this live stream is over, just as in past live streams, I will have time between this live stream and the next one for you to ask me again. And I still wouldn't have sat and thought about it. Steve McQueen. I'm going to go with Papillon. I haven't seen all Steve McQueen's movies, but I like Papillon. It's probably, I think, the best one I've seen. But I do like The Blob for just cheesy 50s monster stuff. Oh, yeah, Lonesome Town is a good song, too. You're right that Strawberry Fields and Penny Lane are better as a single and not on Pepper. Well, that's how I feel, you know. They would have been just as great, if not greater, on Pepper. But I love the idea that they put a single out. I love the idea that this was going to be the new single, the new sound of the Beatles for 67, and that's how they rang in the year, so to speak, more or less. David Gilmour Strat went for over 14 million. Oh yeah, I'll just take that out of my chump change account and buy it. About clips, I meant that if you came up with a longer clip, you could play that, or is the format you use more limited in time? You could play longer clips, but that's not my thing, really, honestly. You Can't Do That in the Night Before are my two favorite songs. I honestly can't choose which one I prefer. I love The Night Before. Love it. Love it. Ringo's drum kit from the Ed Sullivan Show, sans the original drumhead, went for $2.1 million. I love these rich people who just have money to throw around. You know what I mean? What about the rest of us? What about the rest of us that don't have that kind of money? I mean, I can't have Ringo's drums here. People out there can't have Ringo's best. Look, can anybody say jealousy? I admit it. I mean, it's ridiculous. Some people have that kind of money and some don't. I'm sorry. That's how I feel about it. I don't know. It's just not right. It's not like I didn't work hard in my life either, It's not like I didn't put hard work in. Honey Hush, is that the song that I like? That I said I liked? James Farley, the original Ringo bass drum head went for over $1 million. Are you going to the record show tomorrow in Garden City? I expected you to ask me that. The answer is no, I'm not, because I have to accompany my girlfriend. We don't do it every Sunday, but this particular Sunday I have to go with her up to where she works, and so I won't be able to do it. But also, Mr. Blood Vessel, I know you're not going to believe this because you've heard this stuff before, but I am so into the idea of getting rid of 90% of my vinyl. Let me go back to 75%. 75% of my vinyl that I'm probably going to be going to a show myself sometime this year. I'm thinking about it now and selling a lot of vinyl to a show. And it may be the other show, the hall, maybe. I don't know yet, but I know I've noted the dates. And I just decided, I'm still, as I've said before, I still will be buying vinyl here, vinyl there, just not everywhere. How's that? See what I did there? I'll be buying vinyl here. I'll be buying it there, but not everywhere anymore. I'm ready to let it go. I'm ready to let a lot of it go. And that doesn't necessarily mean Beatles and solo Beatles. However, I am talking about excess Beatles and solo Beatles. I'm talking about if I have 4 copies of Sometime in New York City, for argument's sake, I'll get rid of 3. You know what I mean? If I have endless imports of the same album, I may get rid of a bunch. Things like that. Okay, that's where I'm at now. I'm about to turn 64, and right on cue, my mind has gone there. I'm realizing my mortality. I'm realizing the reality of time spent and what you're doing with that time. And what have I done with that time with all the stuff I have? I'm starting to be more mature about it, and I feel good about it. So that's going to be, by the way, that's going to be a topic of videos. I'm going to be making videos, maybe even a series on that. Well, I already have this series called Collectors Anonymous. And it's kind of ironic that I'm calling it Collectors Anonymous, because Collectors Anonymous, I call it that because it's like Alcoholics Anonymous. As a collector, we're addicted. We have to collect. And I'm making this series at a time where I'm trying not to have that addiction, that compulsion anymore, really. It's there, but I mean, it's there still. It's always there, but certain other things. I like having posters, movie posters. I still like stuff like this, advertisements for the albums, displays, the Ringo thing here. Back here, you see a Famous Monsters of Filmland magazine. There's still things I want to collect, but records, I don't know. And a lot of people here are vinyl fans, and I hope they're not going to think that I'm totally going to be out of vinyl, because I'm not going to totally be done. I still love 45s. You'll see me with 45s a lot. Anyway, that's as much as I could say. That's a long answer to your question. No, I'm not going to the show tomorrow. Why? I watched Paul doing a concert at the Olympia Theater in around 2006. His voice was still great. Well, I've heard times where he didn't sound good in 2006, actually, and I heard times where he did. To me, Paul's very much hit and miss. Have you heard the Aerosmith cover of I'm Down? I don't think I have. Heard a lot of cover songs, but why I don't recall that one, I don't know. Hello, Mike Walljasper. I may be in the minority here, but I much prefer the early Beatles. Give me 62 to 65 any day. Well, that's me too. My favorite period is 62 to 65. I've never seen the Sand Pebbles. I know it's a classic. I know it is. I saw Mikey on the NBC Nightly News. Yes. That's what I didn't see him, but I heard that he was on there. Did you see how much that collection went for at Christie's? Yikes. And that was just part 1. Yeah. Some people wipe their ass with $1 million, apparently. I'm not one of them. Too much information. I'm not one of them. The Great Escape is my favorite Steve McQueen film. The record company wanted a Beatles single because the Monkees were flying up the charts. That's what I'm hearing now. I didn't know that was the case back then. I thought it was just because they wanted a single like out like Christmas time sort of thing. I was singing with You Can't Do That in the car the other day. I always liked that a lot. And I'll Be Back is another favorite of mine. Yes, I love I'll Be Back too. I'll Be Back is a wonderful Beatles song. I love that song. What do you think was the worst year for the Beatles' haircuts and overall look? For me, it was 67 by a country mile. Oh, maybe 62, 61, 62, like when it was really short. I don't know. I think maybe. I'm surprised Mikey didn't buy anything at the Beatles. I don't know how to say that name. I know the guy you mean, the auction. I don't think Mikey's that rich. He does all right, but I don't think he's that rich. The Great Escape. Yep, it's a great film. I know. Are you going to keep your Elvis LPs? Now, that's the thing. Some LPs I'm keeping. I intend right now, as of today, to keep my Elvis LPs. There's certain LPs, certain artists I'm going to keep. And Elvis is one of them. I'll be keeping the Elvis LPs. Jim Arce inherited all the money from his father's heating and air conditioning business. That's how he bought all that memorabilia. Well, God bless him. But that's the thing, too. His father put in all the work, right? I guess. And Jim inherited it. Lucky. Hey, lucky. I wish I was Jim. How about collectors unanimous? What is that? Unanimous? Or unanonymous? When we make a comment, does it show to you if we are a subscriber? I'm a little mixed up here. When you make a comment, it shows, right? Like yours here. And what do you mean if we are a subscriber? Or you mean if you're not a subscriber? It should show even if you're not a subscriber. Do you have any jazz or fusion albums? Come on, man. You know how I feel about that. Jazz. Are you kidding me? This guy says it best.
Who put this on? It's just a random selection of notes in no particular order. For fuck's sake.
Okay. They always had great haircuts, the Beatles. How dare you? All right. Let's see. The guy from Air Supply still sounds great. I saw him in 2024, and he sounded amazing. Hello, Douglas. What's going on? I've been making it a point for several years to listen to at least one album each day. I will most likely be dead before I finish my collection. Good reason to downsize. Exactly. And Gary, and that's what I'm thinking. And let me tell you, although I'm going to make a lot of videos and talk and live streams about this, my feeling right now, as of March of 2026, is that I'm really going to downsize my music collection, vinyl specifically. But I'm still going to have tons of CDs. If I get the urge to play music, I will play a music CD. But I'm realizing, and this is going to shock some people, maybe not, I don't know, but it is. I'm telling you how I feel today. I like John Lennon. I changed my mind a lot. It's movies and television that I'm going to really be trying to watch and trying to get on. When you say, Garrett, you're making it a point to listen to one album at least a day, I'd like to try to do that too. But I have an attitude right now. The music will take care of itself. If I listen to one album a day on CD, great. If I listen to one album every week, great. If I go 6 months and only listen to nothing, fine. I'm not sweating over music anymore. I'll listen to it. A lot of times when I'm doing something or when I'm driving, I like to listen to it. But movies and television series episodes, I have a lot of those too. I have them in here, but I also have them pointing. I also have them in the other room. I want to make it a point to watch at least one movie a day, and at least one or two television episodes a day, so you can see. That's how I feel right now. That doesn't mean that this is still gonna. The Beatles are still gonna be my big number one obsession when it comes to music, when it comes to making videos. Don't worry about that. I'm just trying to say, I'm trying to like find a way that I can deal with it. I feel like I got a little indigestion here. I got a belch actually. So, but maybe this thought of it is giving me agita. But that's just the way it is. I'm really I've been agonizing for a long time over the idea that I've got too many records and too many CDs, and if I live to be 100, I could never play them all one time, much less play them multiple times. So what the hell am I bringing more in for? That doesn't count collectibles and things. I mean, it doesn't count some collectibles. It doesn't count like Ringo's new album. When Ringo's new album comes out next month, I'll be right there to buy it and play Ringo's new album. I want it. But I'm not going to go crazy with vinyl. In fact, there's so much vinyl I'm going to sell, and I want to get the best money I can for it if I can, but it's not always possible. But movies and television programs, yeah, those I want to get those watched over and over if I can. But all right. Hello, Cherry Carter. Have you seen the Bee Gees Beatle medley they did on Midnight Special? Every time people ask me things, I always have to say, no, I didn't. I know I didn't. I don't think I'm familiar with that. I think Ringo's best drumming is on the Plastic Ono Band album and the All Things Must Pass demos. Yeah, I agree. I agree that's great drumming. Is it his best drumming? I wonder. It's very good on Plastic Ono Band. Yes, Honey Hush is the Johnny Burnett song that was the title track, Hi Ho Silver, right? Hi Ho, because they say Hi Ho Silver in it, or Paul says that, and that's not the name of the song, right? The guy who owned the items from the auction was a billionaire. Very nice for him. I think Ringo's best. We said this already. How'd that happen? What the hell's going on here? A couple of times. Right. Wait a minute. Hold on a minute, folks. We'll figure this out. Yes, this is a George Harrison t-shirt. Living in a Material World with the hand. Yep. Yes, indeed. All right. There's been a CD boom recently. Lots of prices are rising, and articles about the youth buying more CDs these days than beating out vinyl. Yes, I love it. And I have to tell you that even if CDs go up, I'm already well stocked. Theoretically, I never need to buy another CD for as long as I live, and I'm well stocked already. So I'm good with it. Okay, what was the first Elvis Presley albums you bought? That's hard to remember. I didn't really love Elvis growing up, but I got into him a little later on. I think the first one I remember buying was Elvis's Golden Records. I didn't buy it in 1950s. I bought it in 1970s, the reissue. Elvis's Golden Records, I think. How different would the Beatles' career have been if Brian Epstein hadn't died? That's impossible to know, for sure. I don't know if it would have made that much of a difference. Joe, what did you like about Elvis Presley's movie Spin Out? Like the racing or the humor of it? I think I liked the humor of it, and I thought Shelley Fabares was really, really cute. I like some of the music in it. It's like the racing, the auto racing is something else. That's just. Do you like Julian Lennon a lot? I think Julian Lennon is quite talented, and I like a lot of his music, and I do enjoy the lot. Can Godzilla come out and dance today? I need a laugh today. Okay, let's see if I can wake Godzilla up a little bit. Godzilla. Hey, Godzi. There we go. There's your laugh. Okay. I saw the video of you ranking Abbey Road songs. You were right to rank the medley songs individually, but that makes it much harder. It sure does. By the way, I'm going to be doing. I'm planning now another Fab Gab show, which I haven't done in a long time, ranking an album. It's a solo Beatles album. I won't tell you which one it is. We're going to do the ranking of a solo Beatle album, which means I'll have like me and two guests, three of us will rank our least favorite songs on the album to our most favorite songs. I used to do that a lot. And I kind of tapered off with that, but it's fun. And I'll tell you enough in advance what the album is. So you'll see like an advertisement for it whenever we do it, whenever we're going to do it. It's going to be live. And you all can prepare a list if you like and play along live. And in the comments, you can write down which song you have from the bottom, work your way from the bottom up. We watched World Without End. Rod Taylor was in it. It was in color. Pretty good. That's one that I'm not familiar with. There's a lot of movies. I think we talked about that in the movie show. Do you like Life of Riley, either William Bendix or Jackie Gleason? I'm familiar with, I know what the show is, but growing up, I never watched Life of Riley. I enjoy music much more than movies because music is a more passive activity. This is true. This is a good point. You can close your eyes and just enjoy it. With movies, you have to pay attention. Too much work. I agree. That's probably the reason I don't watch a lot of movies. But yeah, no, you're right about that. That's one thing. You have to really concentrate, especially if it's a movie you've never seen. Earlier question clarification. I meant that when we write a comment on a live chat or a video, does it show up we are a subscriber or not? When we write a comment on a live chat or video, does it show up if we're a subscriber or not? No, I don't think it tells you. I don't buy many albums, but I found a brand new condition Walls and Bridges on vinyl from 1999 to 2010 mixed with the booklet. That's cool. That's a great album to have. I like the cover with the flip over art. I really like that. There you go, Godzilla Appreciation. I agree that I Dig Love is the weakest song on All Things Must Pass, and the demo's better. Yeah, is that what I picked? Yeah, that's a weak song. It's a great album, but I Dig Love is pretty weak. Something's got to be the weakest. They would have stayed together longer with Brian alive because he was their father figure. Who knows? There's a possibility that if Brian had lived, maybe they would have broke up earlier somehow. I don't know how. But the questions like that, it's not easy to really speculate. You try. I got something like in my mouth. Sorry. They finally watched Man on the Run. Very well done. There you go. I'm more of a music fan, but being totally honest, I'm really fond of the movie channel recently. It might just be my favorite stream you do with Tim and Tom. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. And again, it's time for me to put a little ad up here. I'm going to do that. So let me promote the movie channel now, folks. Let me just to put an ad up. It's not going to change anything here. We're still going to talk. All right, there it is. Please subscribe to that channel below, Mr. Cinemayo. It's got movies, TV, nostalgia, pop culture, and the movie discussion that he is talking about is on every Monday or most Mondays. Sometimes we miss a show, but we do them Mondays, so it's coming up. Okay, and I'll leave that up for a little while. And I haven't put a lot of new content up there. I run, I'm dealing with 3 channels, people, and it's not always easy, but I try. I'll get better at it. Okay, let's go. Here we go again. I really love the Living in the Material World documentary. I think it's the best solo Beatles documentary. There's a lot of good stuff in Living in the Material World. A lot of good stuff in there. I personally feel it's a little long, and I feel like it's they omit too much stuff that should be more in there, a little more, but I'm okay. I think it's good, let's see. Okay. Will you not be bothered if the woman song, meaning woman is the N word of the world, is omitted from the movie? Are people over it, do you think? I think some people are over it, and some people are not over it. I think they're hoping that a lot of people are over it and will just forget about it. And I think that's sad. I do. I don't want to go on a whole, grandstanding thing here right now about it. I think it's a damn shame that it was felt that the song needed to be excised from the Power to the People box set. I think it's a damn shame that it's felt that caving into pressure that it has to be taken out of the movie, the concert film, as if they never sang it in concert, and the whole rest of it. I think it's a shame that the CDs coming out re-released in Japan do not have the Sometime in New York City album to get away from that. And they also are not putting out Shaved Fish, which also has that song on it. And, I made my opinions known. The bottom line is, of course, I fully understand why the decision was made. I don't agree with it, though. I think they're caught between a rock and a hard place. Damned if they do, damned if they don't. And I think at the end of the day, they acquiesced to it. And I just think that a lot of people don't like people saying what John Lennon would have done, because we don't know how John Lennon would have felt. But John's whole career was about doing things like were a little questionably risque at times, right? I mean, he had the time where he said he felt that the Beatles were more popular than Jesus, which wasn't bragging. We know that. He wasn't bragging. He said that. It got misquoted out of context, but he said that, and he had to face the music. That was John. He spoke how he felt. And then you have the whole thing with the naked album cover, Two Virgins. There you go with that. That was a big controversy. This is John, and the lithographs that he did, the nude lithographs that were seized, and this and that, and the Ballad of John and Yoko with the word Christ in it. Christ, it ain't easy. Some radio stations blooped that out or reversed it or took the word out. And also the woman's song off Sometime in New York City. This is John. That's John Lennon. That's who John Lennon was. And I didn't know the man, but we all know that that's who he was, and that's just cutting his what's off, I think. And again, I understand exactly why it was felt at this time that it needed to be done, but I say just grow a thicker skin and let it roll off. I think it could have been put out there without any fanfare, without any hoopla. Just let it exist as part of the thing. That maybe you get a few murmurs here or there, but I think it's called more attention to it by it not being there. And that's it. That was pretty long. Man. Okay. Let's see if I can take this banner off now. Get a little slow here. I got to find where I was. I went. Hold on a minute. Well, I went and saw Epic again last night. Still good. I saw Elvis Presley in concert. Epic. I saw it 3 times, and I really like that movie. I like it better every time I saw it. Naturally, I wish the Beatles had a collectors only label separate from Apple, like Elvis has the FTD label for hardcore fans, separate from RCA, Sony. Yeah, I know what you mean. I wish they could have done more like the Bob Dylan bootleg series too. I Dig Love goes on too long and it repeats itself. When George has the brief guitar solo, I like it, but then it gets boring again for me. Those Elvis 45s that went up at Infinity's Instagram look in terrible condition. I think that's old stock. A lot of times what they do is I think they just take they want to have like something to show. So they just take whatever's been around and put it up there, I think. Do you have a favorite posthumous? You mean after death album or song? I'd have to think about that one. Brainwashed, you know, Brainwashed, and John Lennon's Nobody Told Me. Probably others too. I love vinyl, but CDs are so convenient. Amen. I agree. I'm glad I have continued to collect CDs. All the CDs in my collection look like they did the day I bought them in 1990. I have a few thousand. Exactly. They're more compact. They're easier to store. They last longer. The whole shebang. Doesn't mean I still get a kick out of playing a vinyl now and then. A vinyl record. I always will. Always will. Do you like the Godfather movie? It's one of my favorites. Yes, I do. I think I like the first Godfather better than Godfather 2. I don't know. I think that's kind of a mixed thing. Some people like 2 better. And I enjoy 3 too. Godfather 3 is obviously the least of the 3, but I do enjoy it. I wonder if videos have more dislikes than likes, and does it matter? Well, my videos have more likes. I can tell on the side what they get. But the thing is, it doesn't matter in the sense that people who dislike videos think that they're going to stick it to you. It doesn't matter because the algorithm detects any kind of interaction with a video. If you like a video or you dislike a video, either way, the algorithm promotes it, and you get attention. Any kind of attention is good for you. If a person doesn't like a video and they want to hurt you in any way, I don't know if that's what they want, but you're better off not doing anything. To tell you the truth, engaging is always good or bad, is always good for the video maker. So go ahead and knock yourself out. And all it does is give me a laugh. I'll see videos and it'll be like, if I happen to look over, it'll say like, I don't know, do the math. It'll say like 183 thumbs up and 4 thumbs down. And I'm like, ooh, I got 4 thumbs down. Ooh, it's terrible. Oh, it hurts. It hurts. It's silly. I didn't think that I would bother getting Epic on DVD, but now I think I will. Probably Blu-ray, right? I think I'll get it. I wish they had done like John told George and Get Back about doing solo work and getting back to do the Beatle thing. Maybe there could have been 1 or 2 more fine albums. Maybe. I think you're right. And, obviously, if you go by the solo Beatles, you can see they still were pretty good up to 73 at least. They had like 3 more years in them. But then again, you don't know. There's no way of knowing 100%, is there? If they had gotten a crappy album, that would have broke the chain. Which movie poster always makes you go, wow? Oh, boy, that's a toughie. Just some favorites that I like that I grew up with. Conquest of the Planet of the Apes movie poster. I don't know. These make me go, wow. I don't even like this movie, though, Frozen Ghost, that's up there, but it's a nice poster. Any of those early movies, these are very expensive, these old Universal posters, and I can't afford them. This one was relatively cheap. There's a little damage, a little tear down here, number 1, and it's not one of the most popular or well-known movies by Universal Horrors. So, okay. Now that Friday the 13th is over, have you ever seen Friday the 13th 3 in 3D? I saw it in the theaters in the 80s. Yeah, I saw it a couple of times in 3Ds in the theaters. Yeah. Yeah, I was 20 years old when it came out. I remember these kinds of things. I just remember dates and stuff. I was 20 years old. I was on a date. I saw it at least twice in 3D, maybe more, 2 different showings. And it was a lot of fun. Those were great times. You're young and you're with your friends, and times more innocent and all that. Let's see. Your review on Godzilla -1 made me search it out, and now it might be number 1 on my Godzilla rankings. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. I'm glad I could help you out with that, because I loved Godzilla -1. That's the latest Godzilla film to date, the newest one to date. A few years ago it came out. There's going to be another one called Godzilla -0, which is supposed to be the sequel. gets confusing, the title sometimes. But yeah, I agree with you. I said it's either one of the best Godzilla movies ever. But well, it's one of the best Godzilla movies ever made for sure. But then the question is it? It might even be number one, even over the original black and white film. I don't know. Will you go on a hunger strike until the Rubber Soul box set is announced? No, I haven't yet, as you can see, and I don't care as much as everybody else does. I really don't. I mean, I believe we're going to get the Rubber Soul box set. I don't know when. I'm guessing the end of this year, maybe next year. I think we're going to get it. That's my gut feeling, but I can wait. Just believe it or not, we've gotten a lot of other stuff that I'm happy with. We're still getting a lot of other stuff in the meantime. Everybody's telling me to see the movie Weapons. They say it's very good, but I haven't seen it. I'm watching Above Us Only Sky tonight. Is it worth a watch or a waste of time? It's very good from what I remember. If you want to look up my review of it. I did it several years ago. I don't know how you find it easily. If you just put in Mean Mr. Mayo Above Us Only Sky, it may come up. I remember liking it. It's strange that there were two versions of Isn't It a Pity on All Things Must Pass when George could have put the bonus track I Live For You. It would have fit nicely on the original album. Yeah, that's a nice song. Will I be watching the Academy Awards? Well, not at all. I have no interest in the Academy Awards anymore. I just don't like all the politics thrown into it. And also, I don't know any of the movies. Although, excuse me, I may know some of the movies this time. I'll have to look at, see what the list is. But I don't like watching it if I'm not really familiar with what's being nominated. Let's put it that way. I know you're not a fan of MASH, but to let you know, Elliot Gould was Trapper John, played by Wayne Rogers on the series, and Donald Sutherland. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, I said that before. I made a mistake. Oh, yes, you're right. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I said that Alan Alda played Hawkeye. Donald Sutherland was Hawkeye. Well, it still stays the same. I mean, Donald Sutherland is not as good as Alan Alda. Whether it was Elliot Gould or Donald Sutherland, the funny thing is they both have the same kind of personality in a way, Shame that music can't be certified as art would not be censored. Well, it is art, really. Censoring some time in New York City is a disgrace. I saw Elvis Presley in concert. Notice I'm saying that as much as I can. I saw Elvis Presley in concert 10 times. The movie Epic. The movie Epic, not Elvis himself. John was the boss. I don't know what this reads. John was the boss of the Beatles, and then something about Billy Preston. Sorry, I didn't get that. I didn't really understand the way you wrote that. If you could rephrase that somehow, I'd appreciate it.
Could you put that into words which even Caesar could understand?
There we go. Let's see. Let me go up again. During the week, I watched Nowhere Boy for the first time. I understand that any movie about real people will take artistic license. At Julia's wake, it has John hit both Pete Shotton and Paul. Yeah, I hated that. I did not like that movie. I did not like it at all. I didn't like the actor who played John. Didn't like the actor who played Paul. And that was a ridiculous bit of business, John hitting Paul. It was ridiculous. And the only thing I liked about it was that it talked about Julia, his mom. You don't usually get that. The Julia stuff I liked. I don't understand why Paul is reissuing Flowers in the Dirt on vinyl and CD on May 1st. I think, maybe speculation is because it's out of print, I think. And when they've always done this, right? Even in the old days, they always put out albums back in print. I think maybe that's what's going on to keep them in print. Maybe they fell out of being in print. CD is a great medium for music. I hope that we will always have both CD and LP records. Yeah, well, I hope CDs make a big comeback. Although what that's going to do to the prices, I don't know. What 5 representative Beatles songs would you play to an alien who's just landed on Earth? I don't know. She Loves You. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. Yesterday, Hey Jude. That's 3, right? I don't know. It's hard to say. Let It Be. I'm going for like the big representative songs, you know. Maybe an alien from another planet would like Revolution 9. I don't know. Okay, Milk and Honey. All right, so all right, I'm still lost. Milk and Honey. Speaking of likes, there aren't enough likes here. More viewers should click on like, just like I did. Thank you. I appreciate that when people bring it up, because I don't know why from my end I can't see how many likes there are. Likes always help. If people want to help out, as they say, it doesn't cost anything to hit the likes. You know, so if you want to do that, I appreciate it. You know, it helps with the algorithm. Is it possible to get the Capitol release of Help on CD? The Capitol soundtrack of Help is on CD, and I think it was available separately. I know there was the box set, you know, it was in a box set, but I think you can get it separately. Anybody know that? Summer question. Do you like eating outside? I sure do. Well, I mean, you know, if we go somewhere to eat, it's a beautiful day and there's a nice picnic table out there. I love it. What do you think of vinyl versus CD sound? I've got CDs that sound better than vinyl and vice versa. I think you just answered the question yourself. It depends on the CD in question. It depends on the vinyl. I've heard vinyl that sounds better than some CDs, and I've heard CDs that sounds better than some vinyl. But do I have a preference? I don't know. I for a long time in the old days, I didn't understand it when people said that vinyl had a warmer sound of warmth, you know. And I understand what they mean now. I do think that vinyl is warm, whereas CD is a little more clinical or sterilely, kind of clean or something about it. Digital. I know that I can tell the difference. Would you rather have a like or a nice comment? I'd always rather have a nice comment, I think. Thank you. Do you like Bill Maher Club Random? I don't watch it often. For me, it depends on who the guest is. Like, I know I love the show where Woody Allen was on there. As a movie fan of Woody Allen movies and stuff, I like the Woody Allen one, and Julian was on, Julian Lennon. I'll watch it depending who's on there. And the only thing, I don't know a lot about Bill Maher. The only thing I can tell is it seems to me that he's getting a little more centerized a little bit, which is the way I try to be. I try to be centerized when it comes to that stuff. I don't like discussing that stuff, but it's hard sometimes. But it seems to me that that's happening. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't follow it all the time. What is the most underrated Beatles songs? Besides If I Needed Someone, If I Needed Someone is not an underrated Beatles song. Everybody, I never heard that being the most underrated Beatles song of all. This is really tough. I could come up with a group of them. It's time for me to do another video. I always say When I Get Home is the most underrated Beatles song, but there are other ones. When I Get Home, You Like Me Too Much is one of the most underrated Beatles songs. Run for Your Life is an underrated Beatles song. Little Child is an underrated Beatles song. These are songs that sometimes tell me why it gets low rating, you know. These are songs that I think get. The reason I said it's not If I Needed Someone is, in order for a song to be underrated, it has to be a song that a lot of people tend to put down a lot. I don't see people putting down If I Needed Someone hardly at all. And Hey Bulldog certainly isn't underrated either. I think people, no offense to anybody, to Terry, you know, anybody, I wonder if people sometimes what they mean is overlooked, like a great song that's kind of hidden, that's not as popular as it should be, kind of thing, which is different from underrated. Underrated is a song, right, that people rate low. It's rated low. People say bad things about it. It shouldn't be rated so low. And overlooked is a song that people don't talk about enough. That's great. So I think it's very, very slim line between the two. The poster for All Through the Night with Bogart. It's a good poster. There are a lot of beautiful posters. I mean, they make me drool. That's something I'd like to have. If I ever had the money, if I had enough money and I had enough space where I lived, I would love to have posters, all kinds of movie posters framed and hanging wall to wall to wall. Because that's what I'm enjoying more these days. See, I enjoy all these things, the posters here and up here, the John Lennon thing, and there's stuff on top of the shelves here, and posters and things around my room that you can't see right now that I have all around the back here, because I get to look at them every day. I get to see them, get to enjoy them. In order to really enjoy my books, I have to take them out and read them. In order to enjoy my movies, I have to take them out and watch them. In order to enjoy my records and CDs, I got to take them out and play them. Whereas everything else is just here for the eyes all the time. And that's the stuff I'm getting more interested in. Just the way it is, you know. I'm starting to like Pet Sounds more, but not as much as Revolver or Blonde on Blonde. Yeah, I've heard it several times now. Pet Sounds is still not a favorite, but I think I can tolerate it a little more than I used to. Let's put it that way. Do you like any of the Jerry Lewis movies from the 60s? I saw them all at my local theaters. Well, I never really loved Jerry Lewis. First of all, on film, his comedic movies, I thought it was a little too silly, ridiculous for me. But that said, I love the Three Stooges. So how does that work? The other thing about Jerry Lewis is he was such a snake, such an unlikable guy in real life that I have a hard time watching his movies. And having said that, I haven't seen enough of his best movies in their entirety to judge. I've watched television and I've seen Jerry Lewis movies on, and some of them are good. Some of them are good, and I think I may actually, at some point, I'll give them a serious watch. And on my movie channel, I will talk about it, him and those movies. Okay, the wind blew my Wolfman wagon off a shelf. I had to get glue out, repair the Wolfman. He's taken a few hits over the years. Still good. I think it's an Aurora model. I'm not sure about that, but I don't know who it was, but maybe Aurora. Maybe it is. Instead of censoring Sometime in New York City, they could keep the album out with an extra layer of paper to cover the part of the cover that has the offending song title, just like they do with Two Virgins. I agree with you. But the thing is, I think the problem is they're more concerned that the younger people mostly, and I know this from having contact, okay? The younger people today are quick to cancel something like that. Not all of them. If you're listening to me and you don't agree, if you're a young person and you don't agree, I don't mean anything against you personally then. I'm talking about largely. You know, it's like the culture these days doesn't want to hear a word like that, even if in a song like that, that wasn't the intent of the word, the use of the word. Just the mere presence of the word these days makes people, I guess, turn into dust and die. I don't know, or something, but it makes them roll over and turn into a pumpkin or something. But I don't condone the word. It's not a nice word. But in the context of the song, it's not calling anybody out, really. It's funny because I heard just I forget who said this. I just heard, if anybody, the ones that are getting really dissed by it are men. Men are the only ones who are being insulted in the song. Woman is the bleep of the world. You know, I got to play along too. The only ones that are getting insulted and put down are men. You know, men treat women lousy. That's, the idea of the song. And that's who it's about. Let's see. Did George hang around with John after the split more? Did he hang around more with John after the split? And if so, why do you think that was? Initially, they were together more, I think, in the beginning. But I think Ringo was the one that everybody hung around with the most, I think. Well, John and George anyway. But, of course, George helped John on his album Imagine. He played on How Do You Sleep? and and Oh My Love, the song from Imagine, and later on, though, I don't think they saw as much of each other. In '74, they saw each other. I don't know. I don't know. I prefer Yes It Is to This Boy, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. I like the song Yes It Is, but if I had to pick one of the two, I'd probably pick This Boy out of the two of them. If we are to buy the 2027 edition of Walls and Bridges on vinyl, how about releasing a vinyl sometime in New York City on the same day? I don't know what they're going to do with that anymore. It's interesting to wonder what they're going to do with that anymore. Are they going to never put out another vinyl of sometime in New York City again, the Lennon's estate? Or are they going to put it out and completely eliminate the song from it, the woman's song? Or what are they going to do? And as I say, I've said this before in this live stream, I don't envy their dilemma. This is a dilemma because I know for a fact that they really wanted to put it on. I know they really wanted to. But at the end of the day, they just felt that it really, in this day and age, shouldn't be done. Notice I didn't say couldn't. They felt it shouldn't. Or they didn't want to deal with the consequences, because there would be some consequences. Hey, look, we live in weird times, man. Let's see. For several years, the Academy and the Grammy Awards have been dead to me. I couldn't care less. I think so too. I think I would care more if I was interested in the music and the movies themselves and the work. What is the appeal to you of Planet of the Apes franchise? What connected with you? Well, I was just a child at the time, and it's science fiction, fantasy, wonder, adventure. The idea of a planet of talking apes taking over, of course, and man being secondary to the animals, and that kind of thing. And there's more to it than that, I guess. Wink the Man, what's going on? Are you looking forward to the 4 Beatles biopics? I'm not looking forward to them, I'm not looking forward to them. They're just kind of there, I don't really care that much, but at the same time, I have somewhat of a passing interest, somewhat of a curiosity how they're going to turn out. When they come out, I think it's supposed to be 2028, which is a long ways off yet, if that's the case. I'm curious to see how they did and what I think of them, and I'll be honest. Oh, Billy Preston said that John was the boss of the Beatles. Well, for a time he kind of was, but but funny that Billy Preston said that even in the later years. He got that vibe in the later years. That's interesting. I believe that John Lennon never did have a funeral. There was no funeral. I remember Julia Baird, John's sister, once crying about how Yoko didn't invite Cynthia to the funeral. Well, lady, there was no funeral. Should Give Peace a Chance and Come and Get It be credited to Lennon and McCartney? I don't think Give Peace a Chance should have been Lennon and McCartney. No. But at that particular time, I understand why Give Peace a Chance was, because it was 1969, the Beatles were still together, and it was still Lennon and McCartney. I don't know. I would have been fine with both of those songs being credited to the individual. Give Peace a Chance to Lennon only, and Come and Get It McCartney only. I'd be happy with that. I would have been happy with that. I notice you never swear in your rant videos. Do you have to hold your tongue? Or are you not a sweary type of guy? I fucking curse all the time, man. Let me tell you. No, I try to hold my tongue. It's not classy to do that, and sometimes I do it. I think I drop the F-bomb way too much in ordinary life or daily life than I like to. Occasionally I drop it here. I think I've even dropped it maybe occasionally in a rant video too, but you're not getting anywhere really. You do that when you resort to that kind of language. Really, sometimes you do it because you're fired up and it just feels that way. But I don't think it's the best way to go. But I use it more than I like. Flowers in the Dirt and Off the Ground are amazing albums. Rough Ride, Get Out of My Way. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Flowers in the Dirt. I'm sorry. I disagree with you a lot. I'm sorry. I don't mean to, but I'm being honest. Flowers in the Dirt, as I always say, I view it as a comeback album from Paul and a step in the right direction, going the right way. I in some ways I prefer Off the Ground, believe it or not. But, there's good songs on Off the Ground, and there's good songs on Flowers in the Dirt, and there's weak songs on both too. So I wonder if there has ever been peace on this planet with humans. It seems we have never given it a chance. That's why songs like Imagine will always be potent. That's why songs like Give Peace a Chance will always be potent. That's why songs like Ebony and Ivory will always be potent and stuff like that. Any kind of song about people coming together and peace and all that. Because sadly, the human race is quite a mess. And I don't know if it can ever be accomplished. Maybe on Star Trek. Maybe in Star Trek days. But I don't know. You can get help separately on CD. Okay, there you go. Depending on the store, so help is available. So there you go. Which classic film should have won the Academy Award for Best Picture but did not win? Oh, I'm sure I have lots of answers for this. I just can't come up with them. Oh man, it's hard to say. I always say Jaws should have won Best Picture, but then again, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest beat Jaws, and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is a hell of a movie. That's the first one that comes to mind. I'm sure there's other ones, really glaring ones that I'm not thinking of. But that always comes to mind. Oh, hello in Chicago. Happy St. Patrick's Day weekend in Chicago. The cheapest CDs is used at Goodwill to buy $2, $1, or 50 cents, and some in mint condition or sealed even when buying. What don't you like about Love, considering all these new mixes coming out now aren't too far off being messed with too? You're talking about the Cirque du Soleil Love thing. I don't like them. I don't like them. the way what I say about them is, let me put it this way, if that's what we're talking about, I assume. The show, I didn't see the show, but considering that the Love album is basically a soundtrack of the show, I'm okay with it. It's the soundtrack. So I'll take all that I just said and kind of clean it up a little bit by telling you I accept the Love soundtrack as a soundtrack album. I never listened to it. I don't care about it. I don't like what they did to a lot of it. But in the context of remembering the show and the performances, it's okay to me. All right. That's pretty much all I could say about it. And these new mixes that are coming out they're not messed with as much as some of those mixes, If I Needed Someone is one of my favorite tracks on the UK Rubber Soul. That's a great song. I would love a video on your most underrated Beatles tunes. I have one, but it's several years old now. So I don't know how you would look it up. Maybe look up Mean Mr. Mayo, type in Mean Mr. Mayo underrated Beatles songs and see what comes up. No, It Won't Be Long is not underrated. I don't think people know what underrated means. I'm sorry. Now, Terry's going to say, I don't want to talk to this guy. He's an arrogant prick. No, but the thing is, It Won't Be Long is always hailed. It Won't Be Long is always considered quite a song. Should have been a single. Very few people dislike the song, and so I can't agree with you. The Night Before, I love The Night Before. I also don't know if that's disliked much. Hey Bulldog, I guess isn't one of those Beatles songs played millions of times. No. The Capitol version of Help was issued in 2006 on the Beatles Capitol album, Volume 2 set, wasn't sold separately. In 2014, that's what I'm talking about. It was released separately, and it is in the U.S. Beatles albums box set. There you go. Most underrated Beatles song, maybe It's Only Love. John didn't like it. John didn't like a lot of things. I mean, even near the end of his life, he told George Martin that he didn't even like what they did with Strawberry Fields, for God's sake. And I give John, it frustrates me that John doesn't like so much of the Beatles songs. Thinks And Your Bird Can Sing was just a piece of nothing. I know what he means. I'm looking at it from the perspective of the author. To the artist himself, to the author, he's always trying to do better. He knows what he was trying to accomplish, and sometimes maybe he feels like a song didn't come out the way that he really would have liked it to come out. So to him, it was a misfire, or it didn't come out good. So you got to give the artist a break if he doesn't like his own work. Hello, Mad Team. What's going on? I pre-ordered the Plastic Ono Band, the new CD, the Japanese CD. Happy to see they added the bonus tracks to it instead of just releasing the proper album. That's very good. I would like the Ballad of Johnny Yoko better if it was not a single, but an album track. I love it as a single, but, it's also on the Hey Jude album, so if you figure the Hey Jude album. I thought Matthew Street's Beatles Sirius radio channel video, right? I think you mean it was hilarious. Yeah, I saw that, and I kind of agree with him. I have a lot of critiques about the Beatles channel on Sirius. Sorry, but there's a lot of things I appreciate about it. Most of what I appreciate about it are the shows they do. Way Beyond Compare and Chris Carter and stuff like that. The actual shows they do are good. But I couldn't agree more with what Matthew said about that. I think it's called My Fab Four. When people pick 4 songs, give me a break, will you? Give me a break. Here Comes the Sun, Hey Jude, my favorite songs. Come on, man. It's the same thing all the time. Okay, I knew a few people who did business with Jerry Lewis. They respected Jerry Lewis, but they never trusted him. I was born in 2001. People my age really like to bury their head in the sand, unfortunately. Hey, you know what? Keep it going, especially if you like the Beatles. Very, very good. Thank you for checking in here. And we need, younger people. We need younger people here with these topics, Beatles and other things. You're the people that are going to keep, after the older people are gone, you're the people that are going to be here, hopefully, to keep on listening and promoting the Beatles. Let's see. Jerry Lewis with Dean Martin or Legends. Yeah. Sometime in New York City doesn't even need a brown paper cover, just a very large, strategically placed hype sticker. I agree with you, but it goes deeper than that. It's not just about people seeing it, seeing it on the cover or reading it. It's about the fact that it exists at all. They're worried that John Lennon is going to be ripe for cancellation or something. I've heard this, they're afraid that, people are not going to understand. And they're going to be like, how could John Lennon say a word like that? Never mind the meaning of the song. Never mind how he used it. He didn't mean anything against those, African Americans. He didn't mean that in the song. But, it is what it is. Yeah, this is another thing. I don't understand why they won't reissue sometime in New York City, but previous reissues are still available. Well, obviously, you can't go back in time, right, and confiscate every copy of Sometime in New York City. But after a period of time, I'm afraid they'd be very happy if they all kind of got less and less and less and disappeared and forgot about it. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I believe they're trying to erase history. And other people have said, people I respect very much have said, it's not erasing history. You can erase history. History is history. It's done. It's official. Yeah, but you can keep it out of books. You can keep that out of the book. Like never mention a song in an all new book. Like new history books, new music books, new accounts published from now on. New albums, like we just said, new releases of the albums from now on that are going to be the ones that people are going to see more and more in stores and online and stuff, and they're going to take over. to the point where they're the most common ones that are not going to have that song in it anymore. No references in the books and no songs on the albums. But sure, if you happen to hunt down a really rare 1970s copy, you can still find it in the wild. Or if you have an old book from 1985, you might be able to find it, that kind of thing. They claim that just because it's still out there in the past, it's okay. It's not okay. It's not remastered. The song is not remastered. It's never going to be remixed or remastered, really. I think they actually I think it might be remixed, just not released. Don't hold me to that 100%. I'm 75% sure of that. Again, I understand the reasoning, the rationale. If I was in a business, if I was running a business today, it would be very hard to decide what to do about it. Okay. In the 60s, when a new Beatles album and a new single, not on the album, are released on the same day, which do you listen to? Well, in the 60s, I was too young. I grew up in the 70s mainly. Yeah. Knowing me, I probably would have listened to the album, but I don't know. Okay, I don't know where this get offended so easily came from. I have a friend and his whatever is forever skipping school because something trivial happened. God help them when they grow up. It's another thing too. Coddling them and everything. Do you ever catch up with workmates and they are envious you are retired? They're still in the same workplace? Not really. No. In which order would you rank She's a Woman, She Said, She's So, I Want You, She's So Heavy, and She's Leaving Home? We Know She Loves You goes first for you. Oh, man. Right now, I'll tell you, right now, how do I feel right now? My mood, completely subjective and subject to change. You always got to say that. Right now, She's a Woman's number one. It's funny that order you have them in. She's a Woman right now I like best. She said number two. I Want You, She's So Heavy 3, and She's Leaving Home 4. As far as like what I'd want to listen to right now. I can't imagine, this is a compliment, I can't imagine you sitting down and reading a book. You are way too energetic and constructive to do that. Yes, that is true, but the thing with me is, in fact, I was just at a bookstore yesterday, and I was looking for a book, and I happened to find another book, and I was standing there, and I was reading. Sometimes you stand in the store, Barnes & Noble, and read for like 10 minutes. And these days when I read, my eyes are not as good as they were, even with glasses, and there's like a whole bunch of words there, and I get anxious. I get like, it's too much. It's too much. I think I need new glasses, to tell you. These glasses are old, and I need new glasses, so it's not easy to read anymore. Reading is not the pleasure it used to be for me anymore. It's kind of I don't know, my eyesight and the struggle and it's a pain in the ass to read right these days for me. But I need new glasses. That'll help, So I don't love reading anymore. But when I was younger, I did. I mean, that's how I learned so much that I know. I mean, I read a lot. I read a lot when I was younger. You get older. I would have just said F it myself. I feel like, honestly, there'd be less attention on the song if they hadn't included it. Well, that's the other thing. What if they put a photo of John over the song title and his head could cover the word? Woman is the John of the word. That's not about, like I explained, it's not, because it's, in my opinion, it's not just about the song title. It's about the fact that it exists at all and that John Lennon would sing such a thing or say such a thing. The song still exists. The fact that the song exists, I really believe that. I think of McCartney being the leader of the group by 68 and 69. Well, yeah, that's for sure. I would agree too. I agree with that. The others were just not as interested. I think Freddie Mercury was cremated an hour after dying. Wow. I don't know. I remember some swears about me. Yeah, yeah. By the way, I just want to tell Pirate Gamer, my name still is Mean Mr. Mayo. People keep thinking my name is Mean Mr. Mayo. They think my name is Mean Mr. Mayo Beatles Plus. That's a subtitle. Subtitle. Being an American is your default version of the song Help, the James Bond intro version. It used to be. There was a long time when it used to be that. But it's not anymore. You know, I've spent a lot of time now with the regular normal UK version and single and all that without the James Bond intro. That I'm used to it without the intro now. But for a long time growing up, yeah, the intro, James Bond intro, was the one. What I loved about Off the Ground is that it was recorded live in studio. I believe that they were all recorded live with minor overdubs. Yeah, I think so. I think so. Well, you got me thinking. I always feel sorry for YouTubers who review or unbox something, usually Beatles or solo, weeks after everyone else has already done it. Do you try to be the first to do it if you can? I'm not going to lie. Yes, I do. You do. There's a lot of people here. We're friendly competitors. I have friends here that I like a lot. And yes, we all are in the same business, so to speak. And may the best man win when it comes to getting a release and the first one to get a video up. Sure. Because, depending on what the subject is, the release in question, if you say Rubber Soul comes out, was ever the first one to get Rubber Soul just released, here it is, is going to get the most views. Sure. And nothing against anybody. And I understand when they do it, good for them. When I do it, good for me. Sometimes you're, despite best efforts, sometimes you're late to the party. Just the way it is. Not everybody can be the first, but that's part of the game. All right. When Planet of the Apes came out, I first read the book before seeing the movie. Did you do this at all with other movies? I think all the movies that I like, if that's what you mean, I think I saw the movie. I think I might have read The Exorcist before I saw the movie, only because I wasn't able to see The Exorcist when it first came out in 1973. I was only 11. So I had time between 11 and 17. I was able to see it when it came out. It was re-released and I was 17. By that time, I had already read the book, I think. That's the only one. Most of the time, I'm pretty sure I saw the movie first. Raging Bull and Goodfellas should have won Best Picture in their respective years. I'm sure Tom Hunyadi would agree with you there. John always looked down on George because he was younger. Well, that's what they always said in the early days anyway. But I think John came to respect George in later years. I definitely do. Did you not want to see the show, Love? I couldn't have cared less, to tell you the truth. But if it had been in my area, I would have seen it. I mean, I don't remember. It was, as far as I know, maybe I'm wrong here. It wasn't in my area. So it didn't matter anyway, because it wasn't in my area. My favorite Beatles Capitol album has always been Yesterday and Today. It was a great selection of songs from beginning to end. I agree. It's a great compilation album. Yeah. And don't forget, Yesterday and Today in America was the first time anybody got to hear I'm Only Sleeping and Your Bird Can Sing and Dr. Robert. Nobody had heard those yet. The Revolver hadn't come out yet in England, I don't believe, and that's the reason why when Revolver followed in the U.S., those songs were missing from it because they were already out on Yesterday and Today. Who needs them again? I know I'm not going to I never make an argument that Yesterday and Today is a better album than Revolver. It's not. Do you like the mention of the Beatles in Goldfinger? I do, because James Bond makes a negative comment about the Beatles. He says, like, whatever, drinking this wine above a certain room temperature or below a certain room temperature is like listening to the Beatles without earmuffs. And then no sooner does he say that, I love that he gets clonked on the head by the bad guy. So he gets knocked out for that remark. I love it. I rematch old videos. As you know, recently I watched a Docus video where you appeared. There was a young man on who claimed he hates a day in the life, which shocked me. You talking about Richard? If it was Richard, I know he can't stand a day in the life. Just goes to show you there's always different strokes for different folks. Oh, there was another question here. Paul did the theme to Live and Let Die. Is that your favorite James Bond theme? No, it is not. My favorite James Bond song is Carly Simon doing Nobody Does It Better from The Spy Who Loved Me. Maybe because I was 15 when it came out and I loved the record and I saw the movie like 5 times. It's the first James Bond movie I ever saw. I was 15. I love Nobody Does It Better. It's my favorite Bond song, probably. Let's see. I listen to a Bond podcast almost every couple of months. A View to a Kill always gets voted best theme. It's one of the best. I like it, but I read somewhere that Anya Bird Can Sing was about Mick Jagger and Marianne Faithfull. Now that you mention it, it sounds like I heard that too. Hello, Black Chub Bear. Hello, Raymond. Here in the UK, we have All Request Friday on a radio show, and the people that get through request anything that's been playing would love to ask for The Woman Is live on air. Good luck with that. You can't erase history, but you can certainly do your best to try and bury it. That's what they're trying to do, bury it. They're trying to bury it. A couple of comments are not appearing on my screen, but you seem to get them. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. It's censorship. Some people disagree with that. I know some people were disagreeing with that regarding the song, but Sgt. Pepper remix by Giles Martin sounds really good. I listened to it recently. Paul's bass very audible. Ringo's drums boosted, better than Revolver. I definitely like the Sgt. Pepper mix better than the Revolver. Everybody's raving about Revolver. I remember liking some of the songs, particularly Eleanor Rigby on the new Revolver, but I did not like, as you all know, what was done to She Said, She Said. Ringo's crashing cymbals are muted down, and that's a disgrace. Let's see. I think only Rubber Soul and Day Tripper, We Can Work It Out were released on the same day. Nothing else was. If someone just came up to you on the street and said, "Can I give you $1 million?" would you just take it or question it? I would most certainly question it, because that's just the way I am. I think about things. I don't just, get in trouble if I can help it. History repeating itself. John Lennon's statements in 1966 caused a controversy, and now 60 years later, a song causes a controversy by John Lennon once again. Yes, but the difference is, in 1966, John Lennon was here to defend himself and to give his side of the story, and now he's not in the 2020s. Ringo's new album announced. Okay, April 24th. Hello, what do you think about James McCartney and his music? I don't really think anything of James McCartney. I haven't heard any of his music. Maybe I heard of a verse or two here or there. I don't really think much of it. I'm not interested. But if there ever comes a time where I hear it, I'll let you know. Just not interested. Was there ever an occasion when Capitol or Parlophone issued a new 45 and LP simultaneously? I should know the answer to this right away, shouldn't I? But I don't have the answer. Not at the tip of my tongue, as they wrote. Will Ringo add these new songs to a set list, or is the set list set in stone? Ringo sadly does not often do a lot of his new songs, although when he played in Nashville, he did do "Look Up" from his last album, the title track, and he did God, I forget the names. Boy, the slow country song, "Time on My Hands." In order to get that, I had to sing the song in my mind. Confirmed, Rubber Soul and We Can Work It Out and Day Trip are both released on December the 3rd. Any upgrades to your audio system? Nope. What is your audio system now? Nope. I listen to CDs in my car. I have a couple of portable CD players hanging around too. I have a Technics 1980 or so turntable that I never really play much. I don't really have any upgrades. Yeah. Another book I read was The Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess. So I could understand it when I saw the movie in 74 with an R rating. Yeah. In my opinion, being the boss if anything was foisted upon Paul once Brian died and John found Yoko. I'm not sure Paul if really wanted it. Yeah, I don't think Paul really like relished the idea. Oh boy, I can jump in now and I'm boss. I don't think so. He just took it. It just came to him because he wanted to keep the Beatles going. Yeah, I don't think he was rubbing his hands together saying, I get to be the boss. No, I don't think he liked it either. Yeah, I don't think he liked it. In Goldfinger, it's a shame that the painted girl wasn't facing upwards. What a movie that would have been. Yeah, I know the scene. I think A Day in the Life was the most perfect, true Lennon and McCartney collaboration. Oh, I think it definitely was one of them, Gary. I agree with you, but there were many of them. Interesting that the UK Hard Day's Night has 13 tracks, yet all the other first 7 albums has 14 tracks. I don't know what. I think it just worked out that way. Anything Beatles related in a book or movie or documentary you have seen that is so untrue it left you furious? Well, we talked a little while ago about the Nowhere Boy movie where John hits Paul McCartney, which is ridiculous. Yeah, there's a lot of things like that. I don't know, like the ridiculous scene in John and Yoko, A Love Story at the end, where John and Paul are watching TV and Saturday Night Live makes a gag offer for them to come down to the studio. They'll get a check if they come down. And John and Paul, according to the movie, both jump up. They're eager to go. John's going to get his guitar, and all of a sudden Yoko calls up on the phone, and John turns into like a fetal position. All of a sudden decides not to go down, and Yoko ruined their chance to get on Saturday Night Live. Bullshit. Never happened. What's your favorite Julian Lennon song? I'm going to go with Velat, even though I like Too Late for Goodbyes. I like Saltwater, too. Saltwater I like, and Now You're in Heaven I like. Those are some of my favorite. Well, that's a fair way of putting it. Shouldn't Don't Pass Me By have been released on an earlier album? I know Ringo had worked on it earlier, and I know on Ready, Steady, Go in 1964, he said I think he wrote Don't Pass Me By in 1964 maybe, but it probably wasn't fine-tuned until the White Album time, I'm guessing. James and Paul McCartney were estranged for a long period of time, especially during Paul's marriage to Heather. Recently, they're on very good terms. The Man on the Run soundtrack is going up the charts. It's weird. Good, but weird. Do a video where you name the most underrated track from each Beatles album. There's another idea. Don't Pass Me By is still not fine-tuned. That's pretty clever. Not sure if it matters anymore, but I still would like to see an official Let It Be movie on Blu-ray. Me too, at some point. But again, I could wait. I have like a bootleg of it back there. And should I ever want to watch it anytime soon, I'm gonna be cutting this now, folks, because I appreciate everybody's comments. This has been a good one, but I want to get going soon. Yeah, I like Tomorrow Never Dies, and I like the Sheryl Crow song too. Yeah. Do you know what videos you're making in the forthcoming week, all planned, or do they just happen? Sometimes they're planned and sometimes they just happen. Right now, I don't really have anything planned. The only thing that I have planned is I'm going to be doing, for those who missed it, I'm going to be doing a Fab Gab show where I'm going to be ranking the songs with some friends. We're going to do a live stream. And I'm not going to say yet what the album's going to be. It's a solo album. And we're going to rank our songs from our least favorites to our most favorite from that album. And I have a couple of people that I'm working on getting on the show. And I'll let you know when that show is going to be live. And I'll let you know what album it's going to be so that you people can participate if you want in the comments. On that note, I'm going to go. But let me tell you what's coming up here. Okay. Just so you know, now today is Saturday. Sunday, if any of you are interested, over at my channel, which is called Mayo Loves Mondays. Let me put that up there, please. I'll tell you why I'm doing this. Okay, the reason I'm doing this is because there's going to be a show that I'm going to do Sunday at about 3 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be the weight loss journey. That's just for people that are interested in trying to change their routines and eating and everything. I'm going to do a show on that live. So you know, again, it's only about that. So it's not about Beatles or anything else. So please be there. That's a Sunday. And then Monday on the same channel here, Monday morning at 8 a.m. is going to be my show with Danny that I do. I used to call it the Joe and Danny show. Now I'm calling it Joe and Danny Livestream. And I got it wrong. It's not Monday. Damn it. I'm sorry, folks. I was going to write this down. That's not Monday. That's Wednesday. That's next Wednesday. Wednesday morning is going to be the show with Danny. Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. on this channel. But so I got that messed up. And lastly, this one here, which I said earlier in the show, the movie show. We talk about movies, and we'd like to have you people, if you like movies and television shows and anything like that, over at the Mr. Cinemayo channel. That's on Mondays, and that's late afternoons usually, probably around 5 p.m. Eastern, give or take, something like that. That's the Monday show. All right, everybody. So that's it. This has been a lot of fun, and I do appreciate it. Ooh. That's interesting. Thank you much. Thank you much. I do the best I can with the time zones. You know what I mean? It's not easy, man. It's not easy. Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I will talk to you all soon. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to all 3 channels because you got to do the Mayo trilogy, man. 3 channels, not 1 channel. 3. Need the help.